Hey, love, how are you doing? It's been a little rough since last we spoke, yes? Yeah. Um, yeah, I just had my Sudoku book out because I figured it would help folks who are aware of me where I be at recognize me. Because I'm gonna look a little different right now because I don't have my glasses on because I'm not really used to making videos and I don't want to be distracted by my face. So hopefully it's not a distraction for you. So, the madness that has been going on speaks directly to the idea I talked about before of our ability as human beings that is different from the other animals on earth to be able to use our big brain to create concepts and ideas that we then live through as opposed to living as spiritual beings on earth. And so I just wanted to back up a little bit and talk about who we are, right? And so, in this connection that we have to the life giver. And so, I spoke about this in, a video in the past where I think there was a knowing, a consciousness that has always existed, but it was before that knowing and consciousness decided to come into a different form. And so energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So it has just existed. Everything on earth, everything in the universe has always existed. It's just come into a different form now. And at some point, the life giver, this mass of knowing consciousness that existed in the nothingness, we guess, determined what it wanted to do to bring about a change that could never be undone so that we can have this experience on earth, that every living thing that's in that taxonomy of life on earth could come into being here. And so that's such a loving, generous thing, right? To give up one existence to create another where you burst into an untold number of pieces so that you can create galaxies and solar systems and life on a particular planet. It's 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 hard to really wrap your brain around, right? So we are little pieces of that life giver. So we know that our existence on earth, certainly we have this body, but we also have this knowing and understanding that we're connected to something bigger. Most of us do. That we're connected to a bigger thing. That when you are interacting with another living being, that you have a connection, and it is that spirit that gives you life. Um, and so the fact that you come into a body on earth is a testament to your value because you're a little piece of that original life giver to begin with. And so, what we're dealing with here is a being's ability to create concepts that gives that being excuses to have no respect for what the life giver has done. The life giver created the planet. The life giver put all different types of life on that planet. And if we are in balance with the earth, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to live here for millions and millions of years, because if you did your homework assignment, you know that other beings in other forms have lived here for billions of years. Certainly our closest relative in the animal kingdom, chimpanzee and bonobo. So take the chimpanzee, for example. It's thought to have been on Earth for 800 to 1.5 million years. So, it certainly would seem that if we come into balance with Earth, we should be all right. We might can be here for a while, right? And so that's what all of this is about. And so this is about perpetuating this amazing gift as we've always done when we came into other forms. But the human form is unique because, once again, we can come up with concepts and ideas that take us away from the spiritual knowing that other animals just live through, because they don't have this big brain. And so I spoke of lies and concepts. And so the two biggest lies and concepts that human beings have come up with, one is this idea that you own land. So human beings have been on Earth for an estimated 300,000 years. So for most of that time, folks just lived on Earth. They lived in villages. They, over time, began to create more sophisticated societies. And then as folks didn't have to struggle so much for basic survival, then you can begin to create technologies and philosophy and art and all these amazing things that we're capable of doing. Um, but that didn't happen until, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 years ago, that motherfuckers decided that you can buy land for what, right? So when indigenous peoples on earth were encountered with something so foreign, well, I'm sure it was like, that makes no sense. But if you're dealing with a being that is so cut off from their connection to the earth, and they've created these concepts and are willing to be terroristic to make you abide by these concepts, and then generate generation after generation after generation, as your culture, knowing, language is ripped from you through terrorism, well, then that just becomes what people know, right? And so that leads us to the second major lie that has been perpetrated on humanity, and that is the idea of race. So the reality is that beings come into existence on earth. Many beings are migratory. Humans most certainly are. And so you come from other people who come from places, right? You have ancestors. Your ancestors may have lived in a different region of earth previous to where they live now. And that migration may have been because of persecution, because of they were just explorers, or because they were enslaved, because maybe long, 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 long ago they were banished and told, you motherfuckers don't know how to act. You gotta go. Right? So race does not exist. There's ancestry. There is groups of people separated for significant periods of time in different regions of earth that resulted in an adaptation from the original Homo sapien, an adaptation that allowed human beings to exist in those different regions of earth, and that accounts for the phenotypic differences between the major ancestries, those being Europeans, Asians, and Alkebulanans. Okay, so when I say Alkebulan, that is the name of the continent that the original humans gave that continent, Alkebulan. Europeans came after and renamed it in their effort to reshape history in a way that is in keeping with the concepts and ideas that they want to perpetuate, right? So race does not exist. They map the entire genome, okay? They found no evidence for race. That shit happened over 20 years ago. So when motherfuckers are still talking about racism, it's ridiculous. That's dumb. Why are you motherfuckers still talking about racism? Hmm? So most likely people perpetuate lies and deception because it's a benefit to them to do so. So now we're gonna start talking about evil shit. Okay. All evil is just an extreme of disrespect. That's all evil is. I am willing to hurt you. I am willing to terrorize you. I'm willing to make you suffer for no other reason than it benefits me to do so. And so, in understanding that, we begin to understand, okay, well, if there is no race, well, then what is it? It's oppression, right? It's evil. It's an extreme of oppression that is evil. It is a willingness to say and do whatever you got to do to get what the fuck you want. It's just selfish. It's childish, really. And so, we're not talking about racism. We're talking about European terrorism, right? It's that Europeans have been terroristic to other groups of humanity. And so the things that result are a result of that terrorism. So it's not white privilege. It's the spoils of oppression. It's the benefits that you confer when you oppress other people, right? It's not white supremacy. No, it's just European terrorism. And so it's not racism, it's oppression. If it's oppression, then there's oppressor and there are oppressee, so you begin to understand that a trick has been played on you. Because these motherfuckers, somebody was in a lab somewhere, right? This is the whole consortium actually. Just, this is countries, large groups of people who got together and decided that their scientific finding just wasn't going to matter. That's evil, period, point blank. And so this is what you're dealing with, motherfuckers who just don't give a damn. And the only way that they know how to interact with other human beings is to their benefit at the expense of everyone else. So the whole united, divided states is just a concept. They use good intention, loving people to put a face on a money making system, to make it seem like it's a society when it's not. Okay. And so this is what it is. This is the root of all the madness. Is that European males know they ain't white. And they know they ain't no better than anyone else. In fact, they they are lacking in authentic, real experiences because they've been living in a trick that has coddled them in bullshit. Now that they know definitively beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's just bullshit, he's such a weak little pussy ass bitch that he just gonna do the only thing he know how to do is to try to make other people more afraid than what he is every moment of every day because he's a fraud, right? So that's the root. And so now you have to decide, are you going to be complicit in a lie, the deception? Or are you going to come up out of that bitch? This is where we are. And the choice is yours. And you will be held accountable for your decision. This ain't hard. It's hard, but it's not hard, right? So I think that's good for today. I think that's enough. Um, so yeah, just let that sink in. For your homework assignment, I think it's important for you to understand, have a greater sense of what the purpose of the creator has is. And so I've been wanting you to learn about life on earth. And so I want you to understand how life on earth works in an ecosystem. Like the earth is one big, it's a biosphere, right? It's one big ecosystem that's broken into different smaller ecosystems. And so within those ecosystems there are something called keystone species. And so I want you to learn about that. So you can have a better sense of what I'm talking about when I talk about how we can come into balance with earth. And so if all the other animals have been here for hundreds of millions of years, why wouldn't humans? I think that was the whole fucking point. So, and lastly, not lastly, but before lastly, I just wanted to wish Poppy, I hope you have a good show tomorrow. Tell everyone I said congratulations. I love you. I thank you. BDG, my husband, my king. So, that being said, um, this is the way we're going to end every video. This is the last time I'm going to say this. I'm going to set it up. This is the third time. I'm not going to set it up no more. I'm just going to say it next time. So, who do I belong to? So, listen here. I don't care who you are on earth. I don't care what form you are on earth. I belong to you, whether you like it or not. Okay. So we gonna do it again. Whether I say stuff you like me to say or I say stuff you don't like. We in this together. All of us. We're in a relationship and we gotta figure this shit out. Okay. And so in any good relationship, why would I lie to you if I love you? I wouldn't. Right? So we're gonna do it again. Who do I belong to? That's right. I love you. Bye bye.